attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kira's show here. Now, I went back through, looked at the order I have, and made a list. This list contains my what-ifs, and the order I will be doing them in. So, it's going to be a bit tricky, but I might post the list later over on my community tab. And, well, you guys will see what's coming up. But this one was supposed to be after the Punisher, what if? So I'm going to try and get back into the saddle. Now, it's been a minute since I played the game actually. I was playing a different zombie game today. Anyways, let's begin. Whenever we last left off, Midoriya had an unfortunate incident. He basically fell out of a tower, and his mom had to save him. She reduced her body weight and was able to grab onto Midoriya, then being able to grab onto a piece of the building. And, like an absolute fucking unit, one-man armied her way back to a barricade, and had to go see a doctor for her injuries. Now, with her basically, more or less, out of commission so she can't be running right now, you do have Hisashi. Over the last 4 to roughly about 6 years, he's been trying to work on this place, trying to help out. The infection, it broke out a long time ago, and he was going to get a different job, but he didn't really have time to switch over. So he ended up having to learn a bit, and reading. Most of the time he was up at night, so he was either usually fixing, well, the black lights, traps, making blacklight grenades, really just doing anything. Anything that their people can scavenge and use, he was usually involved in, and helped make decisions. They usually put it up to a group vote, and people often sided with him, since he's basically fucking MacGyver. Now, he was involved in actually rigging up the buildings, and getting them all put together. His friend used to live in this place. In fact, it was lucky that he was here whenever the outbreak started. And, well, whenever most people tried to get out of the city or go somewhere else, it did not work out very well. Hisashi and his friend stayed behind, and his friend, unfortunately, is the reason why they know not to go out at night. Because he was bitten by a volatile, and almost ripped apart. Now, you also do have Midoriya at this point. After almost falling to his death and discovering his quirk, he was excited to show all the other kids. And it was actually quite interesting. A lot of them do, well, think it's cool, and actually very useful. They've seen the way his mom uses her quirk, and they sort of want to, well, mess around a bit and play. Them doing that inside of the buildings, instead of on the pathways and runways that they have set up. Now, with that out of the way, you do have Hasashi. He's been trying to create something that will help. Since Inko's body weight can be reduced so much and she can be so lightweight, he's tried getting people to get, well, cans of gas, tanks, or anything. Really anything they can get their hands on. And him and a mechanic, an actual mechanic, they tried to work on this. He wanted to create specs and sell them all around the city. In fact, he was able to talk with a few survivors at other camps. And after a bit of debate, they were finally able to do it. And they created the very first set of it. Of a gear you can wear. You can use it to navigate. In fact, it's so useful, you might not even have to touch the ground. So you won't even encounter the, well, infected. Along with that, it's been getting worse. There have been weird mutations. A few of the people that they talked on the radio and use, well, try and even get information from and trade things around, they've been spreading a bit of rumors. Some of them believe that, well, quirks are starting to become part of the infections. They're not too sure. Someone said that they saw a infected person or a volatile simply just tear through a truck as if it was nothing more than tissue paper. And they're pretty sure that guy used to be a pro hero. They don't know if he was infected or not. The outfit he wore looked familiar, or at least what they could make out. The headpiece he still had on his head. It seemed, well, close to what they used to think it was. Anyways, now, you also do have Midoriya, who's very excited about his quirk, and wants to know more. In fact, he does actually try and work on it, trying to reduce his body weight and, well, train it. Him and people running around, having a bit of fun, and doing this. Midoriya basically jumping around the room as if he weighs nothing. At least to him. He feels completely, well, stronger. Lightweight, he doesn't have to worry about anything. Now, with that out of the way, Midoriya is doing this every day. And he also does try and help his dad work on some things. And his dad does teach him a lot. In fact, a lot of the kids are being taught by their parents. Some are being taught how to use firearms, melee weapons, really anything. And a lot of them are talking about their quirks and how they can possibly use them for survival. However, that quickly gets interrupted. Today, Midoriya's camp is under siege by bandits. And the bandits, they don't really care what's going on. This place is a small community, up in a very high place, well fortified, plenty of food, and from what they know, possibly even doctors and plenty of ammunition. It's got just what they want. And well, a lot of things do go down. A lot of people do begin to fight for their home and try and keep the place safe. In fact, it sort of went on for a bit of time. While the kids were hiding in the very high levels of the building, the adults and grown-ups tried to fight back. Hasashi's dad leading the charge with a firearm, and simply just blasting it in any direction he could. And, well, he ran into a room, and came out with a bottle of whiskey and a piece of cloth, quickly stuffing it in there before lighting it on fire with his quirk, simply just blowing onto the cloth and tossing it at a guy, beginning to fire upon them. Meanwhile, you do have Inko, who she jumped out of the third story and reduced her body weight to, well, unknown proportions. She is below, roughly about a pound, and whenever she does begin to fall, she's falling at a very slow rate. And she just simply began to fire, the recoil actually pushing her up into the air. And she's able to just simply fire off different things at them, hit their targets, and take down a lot of people. Zombies beginning to invade, and be drawn to the noise. Eventually the bandits did have to leave, and everyone was happy that they survived. But, well, that happiness did not last long. The bandits began to simply just surround their camp. It was quite simple. The strategy wasn't to take over the place. It was to outlast them. Without the ability to go outside, and only one of these experimental maneuver gears, that means that they have to rely on what one person can carry, which is not a lot. For weeks they went on rations, and tried to simply go on it like this. Business as usual. And, well, they ran out of supplies. They were close to it, at least. Before they could, they decided to give up. And they all had to walk out of the building. The man in charge was actually happy. He was impressed that they were able to hold them off, and simply just stated that they will not mess with them in exchange for supplies, medicine, and antizine. Their men need some, especially with the new zombies popping up. Now, that is a very fair trade. However, Hasashi and everyone else does not like it. They're supposed to just give these guys supplies and be left alone. They're not giving them back anything. And yikes. Whenever Hasashi just simply thinks that that is no deal, the guy just stares at him and is a bit disappointed, telling Hasashi that he said this is the deal, and he really hopes he doesn't try and go back on it. Don't try and shoot me when I turn my back. Otherwise, we could just do something else. How about we throw you out in the middle of the night and see how you survive then? It doesn't matter. Besides, be it here or in the countryside, you got it worse. Outside the cities, you want to go to a volatile cave? Hell. Me and my boys can take you out there ourselves and exactly see how you survive. Now, Hasashi, yeah, he bites his tongue, and they simply hand over supplies, and the men quickly moving in, as Hasashi is forced to basically work for them. If he doesn't listen to what they say, his family's going to be in danger. In fact, a lot of these people are like that. And, well, you do have Inko. She was not really one for the situation. Yeah, she'll do it. She's been on different missions before. This place wasn't supposed to be like this at all. Hell. She just stayed in the city because she thought she can help more people. Now look at her. She has a kid. And she's gonna keep him safe. Midoriya? Yeah. The bandits, they want these kids to be ready. They don't want childish soldiers who can't even hold a gun properly. They're gonna train them up and try and get them to do things. Midoriya's already been taught how to use a gun. And he simply begins to learn from these men. Them trying to drill in certain things into these children. telling them about how it is that they actually survive. And things go on like this for a while. Until, one day, their camp is assaulted. Not by people, by hordes of zombies. It was bad. They're not sure how, but a zombie literally flew into the building. And it was crazy. Now, the zombie that flew in, it was a volatile. And yikes, that was not fun. This volatile was probably a man with a flying cork. The guy had ginormous ass wings. And he began to tear apart the men and rip them to shreds. This being dangerous. The kids having to run and hide. And, well, it is not fun. The thing probably ripped through about 5 different men before they had to put it down, or at least able to. A few of these guys did at least have the flashlights to hold it off. However, they were infected. And, well, a lot of the guys here didn't want to have to use anti-zine on them, especially because they didn't know if the wounds would even heal right. One of the guys had his lungs pierced, and without a doctor, they quickly just put him down. Midoriya saw that happen from a closet. He saw them simply just put a bullet into that man's head, without even trying. And it was bad. Midoriya, quickly learning that apparently, without a doctor, yeah, this is going to be a very, very bad position. And from what his dad has, said, the men here, yeah, they're trying to work on getting them out, and getting them to go to different camps. They're going to try and sneak out, and if they can, well, hopefully, they can get away. This being what they do one night. Midoriya is about, let's say, 5 years old around this time. The guys have been in the tower for months, and a few of the people inside the tower do have an idea. They're going to light the lower floors on fire of a few of the buildings. The guys will be trapped in one. Then, well, you figure out the rest. They can try and trap them inside one building and keep them there. The plan is stupid and flawed, but if they can get to the other camps, then that means it has a chance of working. Now, Midoriya tonight, his mom does take him on this maneuverability gear. They don't really have a good name for it, but, well, it's probably the best thing they'll come up with right now. And Midoriya, he watches, being strapped onto a harness and basically put on his mom. Him and her flying throughout the air. And Midoriya reduced his body weight, along with Inko. She reduced hers as much as she could. She weighs less than a pound. Well, Midoriya, who I want to say would probably be a good 50 pounds probably. Or actually, I want to say probably 50 to 70. Possibly. He simply just reduces his body weight to a third. So if it's 50, then that'd be roughly about 17.5, I believe, or am I doing the math incorrectly? 17 to about 20, I want to say. 22, possibly. Anyways. Now, Midoriya is taken away, and he gets moved to another camp. All these children do under the cover of nightfall, and his parents begin to initiate their plan. what exactly is going to happen and how it is going to work. Now, the plan, quite simply, somewhat works accordingly. It was kind of inconsistent. Midoriya's dad is going to kill the power in every single building. And, well, instead of you being able to flip on the lights, anytime you try to turn anything on, it's only going to cause loud booms. He's going to rig the generators to explode and set fires in the buildings. Meaning that anyone trapped inside, yeah, you might as well be giving them a death sentence. And they do so. Right before the sun does set tonight, they rig everything and try to fight back. Fighting off bandits and, well, a few of their people dying. Hasashi began by lighting one of the lower levels of the building on fire, and, quickly as much as he could, trying to do the same with another building, using his fire breath and blowing it out as hard as he could, being able to coat one side of the building in flames, as it began to spread. Before he could do the third one, yeah, he was shot. He wasn't killed, but he was heavily injured. Making his way to the last building, he was able to turn on a few of the things inside. One of the men did try to fire at him and take him down. Yeah. It did not work. Hasashi was sent flying. And, yeah, he was burned very badly. However, he did not die. He was found, well, right before night properly set in. A few people trying to drag him inside someplace safe. And they got to a camp right as they did. The camp was roughly about, well, not even that far. It was about 2 to 3 blocks away, and it was underground. If you didn't really think about it, you would have missed it. The place is heavily sealed off and heavily flooded with light. So if you even tried to approach the gate, you would probably be blinded. Now, they do head inside the camp. Hasashi is quickly thrown into the medical ward. And they do try and patch up his injuries. A lot of his skin is melted together. And he does need to hurry up and do this. Meanwhile, you do have Inko. She's freaking out. Her baby is currently at another place, and she's hoping that he is safe. And right now, he doesn't even know what's going on with his father. Meanwhile, you do have Midoriya, who saw this. Even whenever it's that dark outside, or there's still even light during sunset, you can see a fire. Especially whenever the tallest building in the city catches and lights the surrounding ones. Midoriya saw this happen, and he had some thoughts going to his mind. Unsure whether or not his parents are alive. Unsure whether or not they survived. And well, it was not easy. Nothing about surviving is. And Midoriya, yeah. They need to hurry up and keep themselves safe. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.